Have you ever felt stuck, even though you know what you should do? Maybe you scroll through success stories at 2 a.m., heart pounding, thinking, I could do that. Maybe you've rehearsed your big idea in the mirror, but never told a soul. You keep waiting for the right time. You keep saying, I'll start when... But deep down, you're repeating the same loop. Dream, doubt, delay, disappointment. And it hurts because you feel capable, but you never act. Here's what you need to know. Your biggest enemy isn't failure. It's not money. It's not timing. It's 4 quiet words you say without even realizing they're killing your future. This is the story of Arjun Mehta, a 29-year-old graphic designer from Pune, India. He lived in a 300-square-foot rented room. His laptop was held together with tape. He scrolled job boards daily, sent dozens of applications, got ghosted weekly. He dreamed of launching his own design studio, but every time he opened a blank document, he froze. I already know how this ends, he'd mutter. Rejection, silence, back to square one. He wasn't wrong to feel that way. Life had taught him caution. But caution became a cage. And for years, he stayed inside, safe, unseen, unfulfilled. Little did Arjun know, everything was about to change the moment he stopped saying those 4 words forever. Arjun's days blurred together like smudged ink. Wake up at 7:15, scroll LinkedIn, feel that familiar knot in his stomach. Work freelance gigs for $5 an hour, clients demanding more pop, more energy, while paying less than his lunch. His savings, 8,342 rupees. His self-worth, lower. At night, he'd stare at the ceiling, replaying conversations he never had. What if I pitched my portfolio to that agency? What if I launched a YouTube channel showing my design process? What if I just tried? But then came the voice, the one that sounded like logic but felt like fear. I already know that won't work. He'd said it since college. When a professor suggested he enter a national design contest, he said, I already know I won't win. When a friend invited him to co-found a startup, he said, I already know it'll fail. Even when his mother gently asked, Beta, are you happy? He replied, I already know nothing changes. It wasn't arrogance, it was armor. Armor forged from past rejections, from watching peers succeed while he stayed still. But armor weighs you down, and after 7 years of wearing it, Arjun was exhausted. A rainy Tuesday, he missed a client call because his phone died, and the client canceled the project. No warning, no explanation, just gone. That night, he sat on his floor, back against the wall, rain tapping the window like impatient fingers. He opened his bank app. Balance, 2,117 rupees. He looked at his reflection in the dark screen, pale, tired eyes, unshaven jaw. And for the first time, he didn't feel sad. He felt ashamed. Not because he failed, but because he never truly tried. He whispered to the empty room, I'm tired of knowing things that aren't true. Just like you, Arjun felt trapped by certainty when what he really needed was curiosity. 2 days later, Arjun wandered into a second-hand bookstore near FC Road just to get out of the rain. On a dusty shelf, he spotted a thin book titled The Beginner's Mind. He almost walked past it, but then he heard himself think, I already know what this says. And something snapped. He bought the book not because he believed it, but because he was sick of that sentence. That night, under a flickering bulb, he read a passage that stopped his breath. Certainty is the enemy of growth. The moment you say, I already know, you close the door to discovery. Not because you're wrong, but because you stop looking. It wasn't magic, it was neuroscience.
Our brains crave efficiency, so when we know something, we stop processing new data. We filter out evidence that contradicts our belief. In psychology, it's called confirmation bias, and it's why smart people stay stuck. Arjun stared at the page. All these years, he hadn't been protecting himself from failure. He'd been protecting a false story. I know how this ends. But what if he didn't? He thought of Thomas Edison, famously quoted as saying, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison didn't know the light bulb would work. He wondered. At first, Arjun didn't believe it would help him. "How can changing 4 words fix my life?" he muttered. But then he remembered his mother's old saying, "Even a cracked pot can carry water if you hold it right." So he made a decision, not to become successful, just to stop saying, "I already know that," for 30 days. Instead, he'd replace it with, "I don't know yet." Day 1, he saw a design challenge online. Old voice, "I already know I'll lose." New voice, "I don't know yet." He entered. Day 3, a client asked for a wild experimental logo. Old reflex, "I already know they'll hate it." New pause, "I don't know yet." He sent 3 bold options. Day 7, he recorded a 60-second video explaining a design tip. Hands shaking, voice trembling. He almost deleted it, but he whispered, "I don't know yet if this is good or if anyone will care." And he posted it. It wasn't confidence, it was curiosity. And curiosity is the first spark of courage. Day 12, his video got 17 views, all from his cousin. He laughed bitterly. "See, I knew no one would watch." But then he caught himself. "No, I don't know yet." Day 18, he applied for a dream internship at a Mumbai studio. They wanted a portfolio case study. He spent 3 nights rebuilding a failed project, this time documenting every mistake. He titled it, "What I Learned When I Didn't Know What I Was Doing." Day 22, rejection email. "We appreciate your effort, but..." He felt the old shame rise. He almost typed, "I already know I'm not good enough." But he wrote in his journal instead, "I don't know yet what this no is making space for." Day 29, his laptop crashed. All unsaved work gone. He screamed into his pillow. For hours he sat in silence, tempted to quit. But then he remembered, curiosity isn't about results, it's about showing up anyway. He borrowed his friend's computer, started over. Day 34, he posted his second video, this time about color theory in Bollywood posters. It got 200 views, then 500. A comment, "Bye, you explain better than my college teacher." His hands shook, not from fear, from possibility. But on day 41, disaster struck. A client accused him of copying a design, publicly on Twitter. Screenshots spread, his inbox flooded with fraud messages. He wanted to disappear.
That night, he almost deleted his channel. "I knew this would happen," he whispered. Then he stopped. "No," he corrected, "I assumed it would, but I don't know yet how this ends." He wrote a public response, not defensive, but honest. "I made a mistake in referencing. Here's what I learned." He attached his process files. To his shock, people respected his transparency. Some even apologized for jumping to conclusions. Day 50. A small animation studio reached out. "Loved your honesty. Want to collaborate?" He said yes, though he'd never done motion graphics. "I don't know yet how to do this," he told them, "but I'll learn." Day 63, he hired his first intern, a college student from his hometown. She said, "I saw your video on failing forward. It gave me courage." Arjun cried in the bathroom afterward.
Day 77, his YouTube channel hit 10,000 subscribers. Not viral, not overnight, but real. Some days, doubt still crept in. Is this sustainable? Am I fooling myself? But now, instead of shutting down, he'd ask, what if I don't know the answer yet? And that question kept him going. He didn't magically become fearless. He just traded certainty for curiosity. And curiosity led him to try one more time, one more day, one more attempt. Because here's the truth. Growth doesn't happen in the land of I know. It happens in the wilderness of I don't know yet. And Arjun, he was finally exploring it. Just like you might feel right now, that's not weakness, it's your doorway. On day 92, Arjun received an email from a global design conference in Singapore. They'd seen his talk on designing without certainty. Would he be a keynote speaker? He read it 3 times, then called his mother. She cried. 3 months later, he stood on stage, wearing a simple kurta, no fancy suit, facing 500 designers from 40 countries. He didn't talk about tools or trends. He talked about the 4 words he used to say and the 3 he replaced them with. After his talk, people lined up to speak with him. A CEO offered him a consulting role. A publisher asked for a book proposal. A young woman said, "You made me feel less alone." But the real breakthrough wasn't the opportunities, it was the shift inside him. Back home, he walked into his old rented room, now cleaned, organized, filled with plants and sketches. He looked at the same ceiling he once stared at in despair. Now, it felt like a canvas. His income had tripled, his confidence unrecognizable. But most importantly, he no longer feared being wrong, because being wrong meant he was learning, and learning meant he was alive. His clients now said, "Arjun, your work has soul." Why? Because he'd stopped designing to be perfect and started designing to discover. One evening, his intern asked, "How did you do it, sir? How did you go from 0 to this?" He smiled. "I stopped pretending I knew the answer and started loving the question." It was like the fog lifted. Everything became clear, not because the path was easy, but because he finally trusted himself to walk it, even blindfolded. His old self would have said, "I already know I can't handle this." His new self whispered, "I don't know yet, but I'm willing to find out." And that willingness, that became his superpower. Today, Arjun runs a small creative studio in Bangalore. He employs 6 people, all hired not for their resumes, but for their curiosity. His YouTube channel teaches design through the lens of vulnerability. Over 250,000 subscribers, not because he's flashy, but because he's real. He still lives simply, but now his room has sunlight, his bank balance has commas, and his heart full. Looking back, he says, "The moment I stopped saying I already know that was the moment I gave myself permission to grow." He didn't become an overnight success. He became a daily practitioner of openness. His mother visits every month. She doesn't ask if he's happy anymore. She just smiles and says, "You look like you again." The transformation wasn't magical, it was methodical. One replaced phrase, one brave attempt, one "I don't know yet" at a time. And the ripple effects? His younger brother started his own podcast. His college friends now share half-finished ideas without shame. Even his old landlord asked for design advice because you make trying look safe. Arjun knows the journey isn't over. Some days the old voice still whispers, but now he greets it like an old friend and gently says, "Thanks for trying to protect me, but I've got this."
The core principle remains simple. Stop closing doors with certainty. Start opening them with curiosity. Because your potential isn't locked in what you know, it's hidden in what you're willing to explore. And that is available to you right now. Now here's what this means for you. You don't need to launch a studio. You don't need 10,000 followers. You just need to catch yourself the next time you say or think, "I already know that." Starting tomorrow, replace it with, "I don't know yet." Apply it to your studies, your job search, your creative project, your relationship. When you think, "I already know I'll fail the exam," pause. Say, "I don't know how I'll do, but I'll study like I believe I can." When you think, "I already know no one will like my art," stop. Say, "I don't know who needs to see this, but I'll share it anyway." Your failures aren't the end. They're preparation. Every no is data. Every mistake is a lesson in disguise. Choose one thing, just one. Where will you practice "I don't know yet" this week? Send that email, post that draft, ask that question. Every day you wait is a day lost, but also a day you can reclaim, starting now. Your story isn't over. This is just the beginning. And if this story resonated with you, stay for more stories that might change your perspective. Because you deserve to live, not in the prison of certainty, but in the freedom of curiosity. Say it, live it, watch what grows.